Discipline is controlled behavior obtained by enforcing compliance or order. That's why when you apply it to the individual, most people's version of discipline is self-hatred. It's a demon that is hiding behind your back, telling you why you just suck, why whatever you do isn't good enough. This form of discipline isn't about becoming a better person, but about reinforcing the idea that you're never good enough. This idea usually has two responses. Either you're able to find a certain flavor of judgment that is effective in making you move forward. Maybe you think that you're ugly and that all women hate you, or all men for that matter. So in order to not feel ugly, you become strong and make yourself look beautiful in whatever means necessary. You might even get what you want with this form of discipline. You might succeed at the end and reach your desired goal. But now you've made a pact with the devil, and hatred is your new motivation source. Then there is the second response to this type of self-discipline, and that's to do fuck all. If you had a parent that used to berate you for not doing enough, this likely has caused a paralysis in you, a feeling that you are bad and you are incapable of doing enough. Now the idea of becoming disciplined already has this core idea of harshness to it that you reject, because you already assume that it just will reinforce the idea that you're not good enough. So then you say, I'm not disciplined, meaning I can't accomplish what I want, which is already a judgment based off of past experience. But in many cases, it's even just judgment based upon some bad relationship that you had. In both cases, you make a pact with the devil. You're using self-judgment in order to either propel you forward and then be miserable at the end of it, because now you have built this demonic machine that is fueled by disdain for yourself, or always lacking something within yourself, or you protect yourself from the future. So now you never want to be disciplined, or tell yourself that you can't be disciplined, so you don't have to face this harsh criticism and judgment of yours. It's easier to just surrender. But genuine discipline, the one that is healthy and that lasts, doesn't exist in this paradigm. Another way to define discipline is resolve, like having a high morale, a meter of energy that doesn't deplete because you're determined. You do what you're going to do no matter what. That even if the world is putting you in a toaster, you keep moving ahead no matter how crunchy it gets. Resolve is determination. And the opposite of this determination is doubt. So you want to ask this girl out, but then you wonder if this is actually going to work. Or maybe you want to start a creative career, but wonder if it will fail. If I start good habits and then I don't follow through, then am I not a failure again? So instead of moving the trajectory that you want to go through, you're already judging the outcome or the lack of outcome before it has even happened. So instead of asking ourselves, how can we be more disciplined, we can also ask ourselves how we can move ahead without doubting ourselves. A wandering mind is an unhappy mind. A distracted mind is an unhappy mind. And focus is what brings happiness. Focus is moving towards the goal and not doubting if you should move left or right. Not doubting if you actually want to go all the way. So the nice thing about this version of discipline is that the happiness comes with the pursuit, and you don't need to question if you're going to do it or not going to do it, because you're just comfortable in your own skin all the time. Being present and focusing on the current activity is what happiness is anyway. It's well-being. To focus on what you're doing in the present is the drive that actually discipline requires. Because if you want to do something and you are present, you actually notice that you just want to do this. And all of this voice telling you that it might fail or something that feels uncomfortable about pursuing it, all of this is just doubt layered on top of what you actually want. But this desire is there. What you can do is you can suppress it and act as if it isn't there, and then you feel bored and numb all the time. But if you actually let you feel what is beneath this, you notice, okay, I wasn't actually lazy, I wasn't actually bored, I wanted something and I'm scared I'm not going to get it. And then doubt creeps in. And then you wonder, why are you not disciplined enough? So you think that you might be harsh, that you need to be harsh to yourself. So when you're not focused on what you want to do in this moment, you think ahead. Like instead of being present with your enjoyment of life, you are preoccupied with the pain of failure. It's this mechanism that is causing all the problems. It's this mechanism that makes people believe they need to judge themselves in order to advance in their life. Criticism doesn't require this sort of judgment. Genuine self-reflection doesn't require this sort of judgment. Because who cares if it doesn't work? You're wanting to do it anyway. You want to do it. Forget about the outcome. The outcome is like the end of the movie. You want to enjoy the adventure, not already get the ending spoiled. This self-judgment comes from hating yourself while you're moving towards the end of the movie, or while you're even starting the movie in the first place. It's like you're not rooting for the main character, but in a good movie, you like the main character independent of the outcomes. The hero is being valued for having the courage to go on the journey, to kill the demons and move ahead despite their enticing smile. So all excuses of laziness and being undisciplined is just this toxic self-deception. And then it's being translated as self-discipline, where you're supposed to be doing things that you hate to be doing, where you're supposed to force yourself into wanting something. You don't need to do much that you hate doing. If you genuinely hate doing something, you'll find a better way. You're completely free to do things your own way. The voice that is telling you that you can't or shouldn't do it your own way is the demon. It's the fear made out of insecurity of the unknown. And the unknown can be scary, but scary is also exciting. Exciting can also feel like wanting. If you already hate what your current situation is like, then what is there to lose? Why cling to your current boring version if something more exciting could be waiting? Only if you believe that paralysis is the only option, you'd live a life doing things that you'd rather not be doing. But this form of self-deception is trained. This demon in the back isn't even just, something that you're making up in your head. It's social programming, controlled through bad past experiences, likely from parents, but often also from good friends or other family members. Bad social interactions that reinforce something extremely toxic. It is so easy to reinforce something toxic, especially when we're young. People you might call friends don't even like to see you change and see you succeed, because it reinforces their own insecurity, it reinforces their own demon. And that's also why trying harder makes everything worse, because you're fueling the part of the shadow that is hating not just what you're doing, but the motivation for doing it. If you hate going to the gym, but you keep doing it because you have some idea that the alpha male or the attractive guy needs to do this, then that's the problem. You actually don't want to do it. So why are you going? You don't need to go. Nobody's forcing you to be anything. Nobody's forcing you to eat healthy either. It's actually something you want to do or you don't want to do. And of course, there are consequences for these actions, but maybe you're actually fine with certain consequences that society tells you you shouldn't be fine with. You don't have to do anything that anybody tells you. You can find other ways just to enjoy it for yourself. You can find other ways that gives you the same benefits. Because I found, for example, that when it's about going to the gym or having some sort of physical health improvements, the only way you're ever going to stick to it if you find a way that you find enjoyable. And yeah, sometimes it takes some time to get used to, but now I enjoy working out because I do it my own way and not what some optimal science routine on the internet tells me. Don't get stuck believing you have to keep doing things the same way just because you've done it like it before. And just because somebody tells you that it's the best for this particular situation, maybe it's not the best for you. You should probably try it out yourself before you make a judgment about it. You only need to prove to yourself that you can make your own decisions and change things. As this proves that real discipline is much more about finding your own sense of curiosity and interest. It's finding your fun in life. It's interest in exploring what comes next. A curiosity that is so fundamental, like a quiet driving force that is potent, that has no room for doubt to speak. It is not this idea of motivation where you wake up super energized, but it's a natural flow, like a river just finding its path. And everything that is in between is you resisting yourself. Resolve comes from again and again noticing where you actually want to flow towards. And procrastination is the idea that you're incapable of reaching that place. So you're holding back and never arrive. You're not lazy. You're insecure and dishonest with yourself. You can't force yourself to not be insecure and just automatically trust you out of nowhere. But what you can do is what I do with many people that I coach, is ask the question of What is it that you actually want to be doing? And then consider options. Think about ideas in your mind that spring to you, like 3 or 4 or 5 ideas of something you'd find enjoyable or enticing, and then feel into this. By noticing options that you have, you'll notice a sense of agency. Because often we come into a situation of autopilot where we think that something is impossible and we don't even consider options that are available to us. To understand that you have options available to you already gives the sense of positive motivation. It's not something that you need to do, but you can already feel how considering feels meaningful. You want to tap into this notion of considering and weighing out maybe some consequences and what it could mean. But then you don't focus on the consequence, you focus on the wanting or on the possibility space. Because at the end, your consequences of your actions are pretty much out of your control, but there's an intuition that is guiding you to a place. Doing even one step that guides you into the direction of this place will give you a sense of trust, self-trust, a sense of, oh, I can follow my curiosity. And this in of itself matters. There's no need to force yourself to do anything. But if you try to hide what you want to do by numbing yourself out and being bored, then you think you're stuck. Then you think that the only way forward is to keep berating yourself and treating you in a mean way. When you're the protagonist of your own movie, you should be rooting for you. I also have noticed for myself that when I work, the more I force myself into a rigid schedule that needs a certain amount of numbers, like let's say I need to make 1 YouTube video a day, and then I just do it for the number, it becomes super draining and boring. But if I wake up every day and I notice, oh, what could I create today? What is something creative that I'd be enjoying? Then it becomes energizing and it becomes legitimately fun. That's the problem that I had when I started being more creative or uploading something. It's first the idea that whatever I create, nobody would be interested in. And then this blocks you, right? Instead of just enjoying something, it's like you're creating something the entire time for somebody else. And then when you don't reach to this point, you'll just have this self-judgment voice that tells you this wasn't good enough. Of course, over time, when you find enjoyment in the outcomes, you can optimize for them. But at the end, what really matters is the forward movement and the enjoyment of that movement. Then discipline completely dissolves. There's no question about being disciplined or not being disciplined, because you just enjoy what you're doing and you naturally follow your flow, you follow your own nature instead of fighting against it, instead of noticing how you are and telling yourself you should be different, which doesn't even make logical sense. How could you be different than what you are? You won't find discipline if you don't enjoy what you do somehow. And most of what you do doesn't need to be enjoyable immediately, but most of the not enjoyment part of it comes just from self-doubt. It comes from not being present. So how about you stop thinking and do something instead?